Man, it's been a while, since we had this little. Look at this. So, the iPhone X just came out. Everyone's raving about it. Oh, face recognition. This came out April 2017. And don't mind you, this is the S8. The S7 came out a whole year ago, and it already has facial. Now, let me show you an upgrade from facial recognition. How about iris scanning? I got an iris scanner right here on my phone, and I watch it. So, you're going to see a red light. So out of the blue, Paris Game Week was a big deal. And I'm not sure why Sony decided to go this route. For 3 years now, Sony has given us 2 large conferences in a year. Started in 2015, where they finally and firstly announced PlayStation Experience. So usually it would be E3 and then later at the end of the year, PlayStation Experience. So Sony announced PlayStation Experience for 2017 just a few days ago. And as you know, people were getting excited for it. I was excited for it because that's kind of what I was waiting for. I wasn't even thinking about Paris Game Week until they announced that they were going to be doing something. So I got excited like everyone else. But the thing is, that post, it felt like it wasn't trying to get anybody too excited for it. And so that made people question that. And so what do you know? The first comment on the blog post is someone kind of asking what's going on. So Sid Schumann, who is the guy who made the PlayStation blog post about PlayStation Experience, went ahead and replied to that first comment. And he said, on Friday night, we'll have a special presentation with opening remarks, special guests, and game updates to talk about. We're not calling it a showcase, given that we are coming a few weeks off of Paris Game Week, but we'll have some cool content to share. So now what? The only thing left for me to worry about is All-Stars 2. What is going on? Where is this game? Where is it? So in reality, YouTube-wise, it's been like 3 months since I made a video about this topic. I think 3 months. If it's not 3, it's like 2 or 1. Regardless, it's been a little bit since I made a video on this topic. But the thing is, I have not, there's been some developments that have happened since that video. If you went back to that video and saw my pinned tweet, you would have have an idea of that. But there's even more stuff. So let's go ahead and recap all the stuff because on my Twitter is whenever I was going through all this new leaks and stuff, because there was a new leak that happened in June, because that leak we had was from May or something, or April, I think. So there was a leak over the summer. So we're gonna go ahead and recap of all this new stuff that we got that basically flopped. Basically, what I'm saying is we're gonna go over the reasoning why I'm losing some hope because of what just happened. So around July of summer of this year, there was a new leak that appeared on 4chan. I don't have all the screenshots. I don't even know if that thread is still open, but I did have saved screenshots all the way from back then on my phone. So you should be seeing them now, but I don't, like I said, I don't have all of them. Now, mind you, this guy said a lot of info. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. So that's why, but you don't need to see all of it because it's all false. I'm telling you, it's all false. It didn't happen. The guy was lying out of his ass. And past that, this man even made an ask.fm. I think after the thread got too convoluted and lost, he's like, all right, I'm gonna make an ask.fm. Y'all can ask me anything you want to know about this game, because basically he was saying he had played a demo version of it. It had a few amount of characters, so he even answered one of my questions. You should see it on the screen now. So that's what I'm saying. So this guy was going hard with this leak and shit, but it was all fake. So as a full recap, he said he was playing the game, okay? He said he played a demo version of it. He said there was a CGI trailer that had to be dropped by mid-October, or else the people who made the trailer would have full rights of it. So he said this at one point over the summer, and then I think a few days later, Sony goes and announced that they're gonna have a Paris Game Week conference. This blew everybody's mind. They were like, hold up, this guy might be real. That's why it made us all believe it so much. And that's not it, because he explained this trailer so thoroughly. He explained exactly what was gonna happen in it. Now, obviously, that's not a big, deciding factor if something's true or not, but I don't know. It sounded so reasonable. You know what I'm saying? It sounded so reasonable. As you know, Paris Game Week happened, and guess what? I ain't seen shit. So I'm gonna refer back to that last video one more time, because in that video, I stated that I think that if it doesn't come out in PlayStation Experience 2017, the last draw is E3 of 2018. But after this leak, you know, obviously I'm gonna change my reasoning a little bit. So I was like, okay, maybe Paris Game Week, you know what I'm saying? And after, based on what he just said, I was like, oh, look at that. I just made that video, and all of a sudden we got a new leak that makes it seem like it's about to come out, or like at least be revealed in a few months. So I changed my whole thought. That just messed me up completely, dude. Completely. You know, and it's like, now we're back to square one. And so now that we know that PlayStation Experience isn't gonna be a big deal, what do we do? Well, what am I supposed to think at this point? Now, okay, bear with me. I don't even want to say this because I feel like it's just psychologically impacting all of us, but we have a new, I don't even want to call it a leak, but we have some, what I believe to be some true insider type of information. Now the thing, we're gonna explain this stuff. So let me just, let's get into it. So on this website, this isn't 4chan, but it's a 4chan clone Nixon. It looks exactly how 4chan is, just different color background, you know what I'm saying? So it's called boards.fireden.net. Now, if you go on this website and you search PSASBR, there it is. Guy, if you go on the search bar and search for usernames and search this guy, shout out to Zarky, I think that's how you say it. Shout out to him for showing me this. So if you search this guy, you're gonna see all of his posts. Unlike the leaks of these past people that we've been getting, this guy is very interesting. He's very open about everything. He's not trying to hide anything. He's gonna tell you if he knows information. He's gonna tell you if he knows it and he can't tell you. And he's gonna tell you if I guess that's it. But there are a few key things to note about him. So firstly, the first thing he states is that he's not a developer of the sequel. All he says is he knows about it and he worked on the first one, okay? He worked on the first one. He knows the development team of the second one, but he doesn't know much of it because he played a very early build of it, and it only had 2 characters in it, and it's already characters that were in the game before. And as it is, he lets us know that he does know some things about the sequel, but he doesn't know everything. And the something that he does know, he cannot disclose. For example, he says he knows the development team and some people behind it, you know, that are making it, but he can't disclose that. And lastly, okay, this is very interesting. So a couple people have brought up the last leak, the April leak, to this guy, and he was like, I don't really know about that. He's like, I don't have any clue if that's true or not. I'm not a leaker. That guy, he could be true. He basically said, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't outrightly say, oh, that's chalk. That shit is not true. But he does comment on it. But we are going to get into that. We're going to get deeper into all the little things. But for now, this is just stuff to keep in your head before we go and start analyzing what he said. So now let's go ahead and see what's good with this nigga. Let's see what's good with this nigga. What does he have to tell us? What information can we dissect from my guy? Let's go ahead and hit it. So, a post on this site was made talking about the supposed sequel, and this guy enters the thread by saying this: the original was not considered a failure by Sony, and they were surprised at how well the game was received and sold. Their expectations for the first one were rock bottom, and they barely trusted Superbot. Do not fool yourselves into thinking a sequel is unlikely because the game didn't blow up and make greatest of all time of all fighting games. So while this isn't exactly new information for me, it's just something that it's surprising to me that he said it, because the last person that said something like this was Verenitas. And basically he said the same thing of calling it I guess you could call it random success. And if you notice at the end of that whole, paragraph, he says yet again that a sequel is happening. So if we go down a little bit, okay, someone asked him when is the last time he saw the demo, and he says this: the only thing that I have personally seen is a very limited demo. It was only a 1v1 between 2 characters on the training stage, and it was just after the release of Ratchet & Clank PS4. I am not involved with the development of the new game. If anybody has said I am, they are misinformed. Isn't that interesting? So following that, this is something that doesn't seem like it's too serious at first, but somebody asks if supers will be present, okay? And he says this: the super system was not gone in the demo I saw, which is a good thing. The game needs to stay true to its super only kill style. Another HP drain fighter is not going to do it, and trying to compete with the likes of Street Fighter and Tekken is foolish. There is a different niche to fill in the mascot fighter games, and the Super System gives it the flair and style needed to compete with Super Smash Bros. It's only adequate comparison. See, this is something that I agree with a lot, and I'm not going to expand on it too much from my part, but I believe he's 100% right. The reason why I brought up this post is because of his next question that he answers. If you guys look into the April leak, the guy had said that supers will not be the only way to kill people. And coming off of his other post about saying supers were present in that demo, somebody comes in and says, alright, look, somebody's lying here because this leaker said one thing and you're saying something else. And to that, he says this: I am not a leaker, and that post was not made by me. Speaking from my personal experience, stages come very late in development, and it strikes me as odd that resources would be spent there in early development. One character is made as a means of which to build the engine around. This character was Sweet Tooth in the first game. I am not saying that this leaker is a liar, I am just saying that it is odd to me given what I know of the first game's development. See, this makes sense. The April leaker verbally said that this game was far into development whenever he saw this demo. So I guess based off of that, you know, he kind of was able to cover up his tracks if he was lying, you know, because it makes sense. If it was far in development, obviously they're going to have some stages made by then. But I don't want to dwell too much on this part of it, okay? Next up is a small but kind of meaningful series of questions and answers. Basically, somebody comes in and disses the Super System, saying the game will fail, and he explains that it was a loved and hated mechanic, but based off of his opinion, it should stay, which I agree. And he expands on this a little more from another question with some more facts, saying this: many people confuse their frustration for the system with the imbalance of it. Certain characters had unavoidable level 1 supers, while others didn't have an unavoidable super until level 3. It was not fair to fight Raiden as Nariko, due to the fact that it took 3 times as long for her to get the same results. If every character had confirms until level 1 supers, the game would have been much more fun in the competitive community. If I could perfectly balance the game according to my design, I would allow frame traps and reads that link into level 1 kills, confirms into level 2 kills, and level 3s would potentially allow multiple kills. So a post like that is a sign that lets me know that whether or not he really did work on the first game, he knows what he's talking about. Raiden's level 2 was literally Nariko's level 3. And don't even get me started on Nariko's level 1 versus what Raiden's was. That shit was just ridiculous. So there's a lot of stuff said, and I went through it all, but it would just be too much for me to put in this video. But he does mention that he has no idea of when the game will release, and the demo he saw was a year ago. Someone asks him to guess of a release date, and he says he can't say a guess since what he saw looked like a month or so of work, and he was even saying that if he had time on his hands, he could recreate what he saw. One of his reasons for not exactly giving us any prediction is because of Kingdom Hearts 3, and he's just kind of saying, oh, all eyes are on this game, as a gaming industry, everybody is not trying to release around this game, so you know, it's whatever. But we're not going to get too deep into that. There's 2 more responses that I want to highlight in this video before we finish it off. So firstly, someone asks what he thinks about the April leak, and he says this: the sound of his actual leak does not seem likely to me due to how development roadmaps usually are, and it is slightly odd given something I already know about the characters, but things could have changed and I could be entirely wrong. As for the content he describes, the only thing that I do not like is Noctis as a Final Fantasy rep. I believe Onion Knight or Lightning would be the best Final Fantasy rep, and only because Cloud is already in use. Aloy and Morgana sound like great additions to the cast, and that Crash/Horizon Zero Dawn stage would be very cool if it's how I envision. And lastly, somebody asks if the game is still a thing, based off the fact he saw a demo build a year ago. And with that, he answers, absolutely positive, period. If I had to be honest, this guy has given me a new hope. And with this information that he's given us, which I truly believe is true, okay? I truly believe it. It's gonna be able to help us decipher the fake and the real leaks that may or may not occur from now until, I guess, when the game comes out or it gets announced. But there's one thing I can say for sure again, okay, that I've been saying, and I will stick to my word until I see this game. It's happening. It's happening. Don't tell me it's not. But, you know, after this, I have no idea when. You know, there isn't a set time anymore that it could be released. I thought that it would have been way past development, but according to this guy, it still is early. But I don't know, guys. Only time will tell. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe for more of this, and I'll see you beautiful squad members. You see, I'm waiting and they hating, and I'm sipping on my tea. Bad bitch walking past, may I stop you, please? And I'm hungry as a bitch, but this life ain't free. If I'm trying to get this money, I can't really shake a tree. I be working, it's a 3:15. When I stop